Like, it's coming closer. I'm like, oh, that's my Lamborghini. A forklift is just carrying my Lamborghini like that. And the guy's like, where do you want it? I'm like, I mean, there's so much more damage on this car. Oh, what did I get myself into now? Vinny, I don't know if you're watching, but if you did crash it, just drop a comment, contact me. I'm just starting to, like, my heart's starting to sink now. Like, did I just get scammed? The month is August, and I decided to finally take a step forward and just decided to go into the exotic culture world. I know it's not going to be easy, but I like challenges, and I'm kind of getting bored of what I'm doing at this point. So I started looking around. I have no experience at this time with bodywork. I've been around exotic cars for a long time. My friend owns an exotic rental car company, so we do track days with him. I'm a track instructor with him. So I've been around exotics. I work on exotics. I have a lot of experience working on Lamborghinis, doing clutch jobs on Murcielagos, Gallardos, pulling the engines out, just doing anything really on Lamborghinis, but no body work yet. I'm very clueless of how the body shop world industry works at that time, but I wanted to put my foot through the door and just kind of start. And I've been eyeing a car. It was a 2013 Gallardo. It was a white on black. It was in New York at that time. I was looking at it on a website called Copart.com. I've been eyeing the car, and from what I can see, it just looked like very light damage in the front. The back has just a little bit of damage, just probably needs a tail light, a bumper, and the front end just looks like it probably just needs like a hood, 2 fenders, headlights, bumper, rats, that kind of thing. I was eyeing it for a little while, and then I noticed an auction date is coming up. I want to bid on it. Decided to go down to New York. I went and checked it out. From what I can see is like you can't really lift it up in the hoist. You can't really do like a prolonged inspection. Like I went there, walked around the car, opened the front up, and I saw like, yeah, the front frame is damaged. It's gonna have to be replaced. I mean, from other than that, I mean, you know, the car started up. So from what I can tell, I mean, it should be a pretty simple fix. Just gotta try to bid on the car and then win the auction. Auction day comes around, and I have a budget in mind, and I want to see if I could win the car. So I see someone from Florida is bidding on it, and someone from Ohio is bidding on it, and then it's just going up in price. I'm like, oh, that's just too much. I can't afford that. So the car is apparently sold. I was pretty bummed out, and I started going back on Copart. And I noticed just the next day, the same car is back up again. And I'm like, interesting. Okay, well, I wonder what the hell happened. I thought there was a high bidder on it. I decided to contact owner directly, because I remember when I went to go check it out, I noticed who owned the car at that time. This company listed the car back up again. I asked him, hey, I noticed, you know, the car didn't sell. I'm a serious buyer. He asked me how much I can afford, and I told him how much I can do at that time, and I gave him an offer. He said, all right, that works out, and just do a wire transfer, and then you can come take the car. I'm like, oh, really? Okay, awesome, man. So I didn't go through Copart at this time, so I ended up wiring him the money directly, and then I was just really ecstatic to just go pick up my car. Usually when you go buy a Lamborghini from the dealership, they have a bow on it for you. They wash it up. It's in the delivery room. The salespeople come out and congratulate you. I remember renting a car with a trailer and driving down to New York. As soon as you get there, I tell them which car I'm here to pick up. They're like, all right, we'll bring it up for you. I'm like, I wonder how they do that. I was just like really surprised. That's how they move the cars around. And keep in mind, I mean, I'm really fresh into this whole industry of like buying salvage cars that are smashed up, you know, especially, I mean, a Lamborghini at this point. I mean, you know, I wonder how they're gonna bring a smashed up car out like that. So we're waiting outside, very cloudy morning with some rain. I remember like the whole field was just all muddy, and we're just waiting. So I'm like, this is a really interesting experience of collecting my Lamborghini, my first Lamborghini that I'm buying. So finally we see like this massive forklift with like a car on it. And I'm like, oh, is that my car on? My car is on a forklift like that? And then I notice like it's coming closer. I'm like, oh, That's my Lamborghini. A forklift is just carrying my Lamborghini like that. And the guy's like, where do you want it? I'm like, can you place it near on the trailer? And then I remember he just drops it, and then we were on our own. We just gotta get it up there. I'm driving the car. I'm just so ecstatic. Finally, I picked it up. The process is not so easy bringing the car back to Canada from the US at the time. You know, I needed some special clearances and all this stuff. So I left it near the border for that time, and then I just went home. Finally, a month goes by. I finally get the car to the shop. I was able to lift it up on the hoist, and I'm looking at the car. I take the wheel off, wheel liner, the rear bumper off, tail light, and I'm noticing, holy, what did this car go through? There's so much more damage on this car. Did it look like someone tried to fix this damage on the car beforehand and then put it back into the auction? Could that be? Because from the pictures I just saw, it'll just be very light work. What did I get myself into now? The one thing I never did is something that you guys should definitely do once you guys are looking for cars, is take the VIN number, put it in Google search, and search that VIN number. So I finally decided to do that after I got the car, and I found a photo of my car, and I couldn't believe what I was looking at. The right rear has completely torn off. The front end just looks completely mangled. It does not look like the same car that I just bought from this auction. It looks like a completely different car at this time. I mean, for what I just paid for this car was way more than what this car is actually worth. I'm just starting to, my heart's starting to sink now. Like, did I just get scammed? I mean, this is worse than I thought. So as I was searching the VIN number on Google, I noticed someone by the name of Vinny from Jersey Shore owned a white Lamborghini Gallardo 2013 LP550-2. I saw the ad, I'll post it up here. The VIN number matched, so apparently I bought Vinny's old car. So I don't know if he actually crashed it. Vinny, I don't know if you're watching, but if you did crash it, just drop a comment, contact me, let me know. You know, it's kind of cool to know the old owner at least. So it was a local New York card, the state of New Jersey. That's good to know where it was. I was able to pull the frame in the back, cut some sections out, and I was able to find some parts locally. I went on our local classifieds app called Kijiji, and I just searched Lamborghini Gallardo parts. Someone who I can't name right now, I'm just gonna call him John. Someone by the name of John at a body shop had a Gallardo for parts. So I give him a ring. I call him, hey, I need this, this, and this, and this. And he's like, yeah, come on over. So I meet John there for the first time. I tell him what happened. He's like, you got scammed, man. It's someone took that car, just kind of made it look a lot better, covered it up, and covered all the damage. Just put a quarter panel on it and just hit all the damage underneath. Put a bumper on it, hit all the damage from the back, and just kind of made it look like it's not so bad, and put it right back in the auction so they get more amounts of money for it. I'm like, all right, well, this is going to require a lot more work, but you know what? I'm not going to let this bring me down. I'm getting into this, in this industry, so I kind of want to just go for it with everything that I have. So I ended up getting another new frame for the front end. I'm buying a whole bunch of parts. By the time I was done buying everything for the car, by the time I got it painted, got it all fixed up, I was probably more than 115,000 into the car. Keep in mind, the car still has a salvage title, and the way I was able to drive it around was with a dealer plate on it. You're supposed to get the car something called structural safety in Ontario. So I was trying to do that, but I was missing one very important piece of paperwork that I needed to complete my structural safety for the car. That is a body shop repair estimate. Now, the repair estimate that I'm looking for is the original repair estimate for the car that I need when the car first crashed. Not how it was put back together right now, but actually the first time it was crashed. That repair estimate I need, so I'm able to submit it in with the complete package to turn this car to give it a clean title. I called the people who I got the car from, and they absolutely no help at all. Pretty much told me to go screw myself, man, and don't call again. So at this point, I'm like, I really don't know what to do. I tried contacting Copart, and they're like, sorry, we have no information here. You didn't buy the car from us. I should have at least went through Copart. That's a mistake I made. Well, I was full running, driving Gallardo that I just put so much money and time into, and it's just paperweight at this point. It's good for parts. I mean, you could put a dealer plate on it, but you're gonna get pulled over and you're gonna get harassed, and you know, I just didn't want to deal with that kind of stuff. I did like the car, and I did want to get into this business. It was the whole point of buying it was to flip it and make money on it. I didn't let that get to me, so I enjoyed the car. I drove it around. I remember this was back in 2018 of June, daily driven exotics, and Damon came down, Stradman came down, met all the guys. It just felt great just having my own exotic there as well, just parked right next to Damon's car. We were just shooting the shit. I remember just talking to him. I told him the whole story of how I got it. Yeah, it was just great times with the car, but I know that it's just paperweight at this time. I gotta try to sell this thing and move on. I listed in local classifieds. Anyone who came down and looked at the car, they just gave me such a low blow offer where I was just losing about $20,000-$30,000 at that time, and I didn't want to take that much of a hit. Finally, I let it go. I think I got about like $88,000 for the car. You know, I took a big loss on it, but I told myself, you know, I'll make it in the next one. You know, I learned so much doing this. I mean, if I went to school, I'm sure school would have cost a lot more learning the same lessons. So that's the way I look at it. I just told myself, hey, it was just a learning lesson, and just kind of move on. And, you know, I got scammed. It is what it is. So definitely learn my lesson is to make sure that you always do your research before you buy the car. Just make sure that you have all the required paperwork to basically get the car registered properly in your jurisdiction, and make sure you have the appraisal. I met John. I'm just going to call him John for now. And he deals with a lot of Lamborghinis as well. I met him through the classifieds. I would have never met him if it wasn't for me not buying this car and looking for parts. And started making some connections, started getting involved in the industry, exactly what I wanted. It was just a really interesting learning curve with this whole experience. So definitely when I buy the next car, I gotta make sure that I have all the paperwork of whoever I'm buying it from. I just took a note of it. I'm like, you know what? I'll take this as a loss for now, but I learned a lot of valuable information and do more research than actual actions.